thanks for coming. There are so many things we could talk about, but the main reason we've got you all here today is because you've been involved in the foundation and coordination of Girls Rock Adelaide, and we really want to know more. So Hannah, maybe we can start with you. If you could tell us a bit about Girls Rock Adelaide, who is it for and what do you do?
Sure. So Girls Rock is a camp program that's been around for about 25 years. So it started in America, in Portland, and it's spread across the world in the last 25 years. And it's basically all the same sort of model. So it's over a week in the school holidays. It's for young people who don't identify as male. So it's young women and gender diverse young people and trans people and non-binary young people, usually aged between about 10 to 17. That's the age group that we work with. And it's based around music. So there's usually instrument lessons. So the young people will choose from electric guitar, bass, drums, vocal, or keyboards and synths. And so they'll get an instrument lesson every day, and then they'll be broken up into bands, and they'll have band practice every day, and they'll work together to write a song that they play in a showcase at the end of the week. And interspersed throughout, we also have things like lunchtime concerts where we have non-male artists come in and play at lunchtime. And we have presentations and workshops with things like screen printing, where the campers get to make a logo for their band and screen print it onto a t-shirt. Zine making, so they get to do a bit of cutting and sticking and some collage. We had, I think, performance poetry last time. We had an industry panel, so we had lots of non-male people from South Australia who work in the music industry come and chat about their careers. So yeah, it's a really interesting jam-packed week.
That sounds like a dream. I remember when I heard about Girls Rock, I was so devastated that I'm in my 30s. I was like, no.
Yeah, the common thread that we hear from people at orientation is, I wish this was around when I was young.
Seriously, just quickly to pick up on that, the people that are doing the camp, do they come with experience of playing instruments, or
Not
are
at
some
all.
coming? Oh wow!
It's a really broad range, but we don't have any expectations of the young people that come along. They can come with no experience whatsoever. They might never have touched a musical instrument before, and we guide them through learning the basics of that instrument. And we provide all the instruments as well. So that's another way of making it more accessible.
That is so cool.
And Hannah, maybe you can speak to this next question as well. How did Girls Rock Adelaide come about?
That's a really good one. It's been around in Australia for about 6 years. Started off in Canberra. So the first Girls Rock in Australia was in Canberra in about 2015. And I mentored at Girls Rock Canberra in 2018, I think, was the first one I went to. And then I think the year after, or was it the same year, I think Anna and our other co-director, Cian, did mentoring at Girls Rock Melbourne. And we were all just desperate, really. I met Cian in Canberra. We both mentored at the Canberra one that year. And we both had it in our heads that we wanted to start Girls Rock Adelaide. So we ended up getting this crew together. There was 4 of us who were just desperate to get it off the ground for South Australia, because we'd had an experience of how life-changing it had been for the young people that we had mentored ourselves in other places. So that's kind of how it came together. We just made it happen.
A lot of enthusiasm and running around and just doing things very quickly.
That is a wonderful way to get things done, hey? No matter how chaotic it may be.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll go to you now, Grace. Could you tell us about what has the disruption of the last few months meant for Girls Rock Adelaide?
Yeah, sure. So I guess the biggest question mark above all our heads was what's going to happen to camp, because that was originally pitched for the middle of the year. And, you know, we kind of had to wait and see how the restrictions would or would not lift or change. And we've made a decision to postpone that. We now have a a future release date set in stone, so we're a bit excited about that to be revealed, so stay tuned for that. But we also, obviously this was a big shock for the creative industries, particularly in the music community, to work out how to attain income still, to work out how to gig. And so there's a lot of kind of ethical questions about how do we run fundraisers, ask people to contribute their time, how do we adapt our content to online and think about innovative new ways to connect with not only potential attendees, but fundraising opportunities, and also just support the community and give a sense of togetherness during this strange time. And I think we did come up with some really great strategies. For example, Tuesday Takeover which happens on a Tuesday starting at 6 o'clock. It's a little live stream from usually, a cute little room in someone's house, and they're doing a nice little acoustic set. It's super intimate and it's very awesome to tune into. And there's a bit of dialogue going on if you're listening and talking too. So, there's been some nice little adaptive strategies there, but it's certainly been a strange time. We're all kind of, I think, just weathering it out.
Mm.
Absolutely. And you're so right about all the ethical questions this time raises. Because it's a tough time to be fundraising, but at the same token, everyone wants to be supporting each other. So it's really tricky to find that balance. But you mentioned the camp, and it's very exciting to hear there's a future date lined up. Could you maybe walk us through what's involved in a Girls Rock camp? Maybe Hannah, will start with you, and then Anna as well.
Yeah, so I mentioned a lot of the sessions that we do earlier, but I feel like I should clarify. We refer to it as camp, and it's not actually a camp. There's no sleeping over involved. Some places in the States it is a sleepover camp, but it's just a day program. So it runs from about 9 to about 4:30, Monday to Friday over 1 week in the school holidays. And every day is the same sort of structure. We have like an assembly or like a little chat in the morning, and then we'll move into instrument lessons, and then we'll have
Anna, you missed punk rock aerobics.
Oh, I beg your pardon.
That should not be missed by the sound.
No, it's because I hardly got to participate last year. I was busy running around doing stuff. But Anna was our fantastic punk rock aerobics facilitator, which is just basically 5 minutes of put on a song and we'll just move around. And if you've got a bit of nervous energy, it helps you to kind of work that out and just kind of get a bit relaxed and ready for the day.
That's such a good idea. I feel like I should just incorporate that into my days.
Yeah, it's a pretty good vibe, and it's just a nice thing to do with a group of people to start the day. And then we have assembly, and then instrument lessons, and then lunchtime concert, and then we'll do band practice, and the last session of the day is a workshop of some kind. So like I mentioned previously, it'll be screen printing or zine making or slam poetry or self-defense or whatever amazing people we've been able to program into the week. And then Friday afternoon we do dress rehearsal. So that's getting on stage, getting everyone used to the feeling of maybe being in front of an audience, and learning how to check their fold back, that kind of thing, how to plug in, how to get tuned up, ready to go. So yeah, Friday afternoons are a pretty interesting atmosphere, lots of nervous energy. And then Saturday is our showcase. So that's for friends and family. And last year we opened it up to members of the public as well. So that was at the Unibar. And Saturday from 1 p.m. till 3 p.m. we had our 6 new bands that we mentored through the week play their songs that they'd written. And it was incredible.
It sounds incredible. That seriously sounds like a dream camp.
Yeah.
It's super fun. The atmosphere is really fantastic, and I think we work hard to set the scene for that on the Monday morning, just to set some ground rules and give people an idea of what it is they can expect, and also trying to get the message through that it's not a competition, that they can support each other. There's ways to choose the words that they might use. If they want to be critical, what's a way you can say that that's going to be supportive, rather than tearing someone down? So we try and build these communication skills and relational skills that are more about empowering and building up. And not just for the young people as well. It's really important that we do that for our community of volunteers. And that's something that took off way beyond what we expected, that the volunteers really have bonded as a community and made some really strong relationships out of being volunteers together during that week, which has been really lovely to see.
That's awesome. It's really cool to hear about learning how to manage giving feedback and not getting stuck in competitive places, because I feel like for a lot of young people and female identifying people and artists, we're taught that competition in those fields is normal and healthy, and it can be really unhelpful to the work. And I feel like as an adult, it's taken a long time to learn how to exist in a competitive arts world without contributing to that in an unhealthy way. So it's really exciting to hear about a group of young people getting to learn that from the beginning with other people and practice it.
Yeah. And
that's really cool.
It's important that we acknowledge why we do this. It's because there has historically been limited space for people with marginalized voices in the music industry. So we don't discuss those sorts of things. We don't say, you're going to find it really hard, or, we don't go at it from that level. It's really a grassroots uplifting, like a bubble of space where their voices are the only thing that's important that week. And we make sure that they feel supported to tell the story that's inside that they want to tell, or to be loud or to be noisy if they don't get permission to do that elsewhere.
And the great thing is it might start as that bubble, but that bubble grows and gets older and then influences their peers and hopefully influences the broader industry as well as they start taking those roles. Anna, you've been, I'm sorry, I can't remember the exact term, but you mentored a group.
Yeah, band coach or a band mentor.
Coach.
Yeah. I was getting emotional then talking about stories coming out. It's so true. And like the collaboration that happens on camp, a band coach is so a mentor who kind of takes a group during band prac and supports them in their process of coming up with a song together. And I mean, it's very much you take a step back and just let them go for it in a lot of ways, because even with all the collaboration, we talk about them learning skills. They have so many of those skills already, and you just throw them in a room and you watch them communicating and coming up with the most amazing ideas. Both of the bands that I've mentored in both Melbourne and Adelaide have been, 11 or 10 to 13, and they've come up with bangers, like songs about being bullied and not standing up for who you are, and they'll be like, I've had this idea for the showcase, we'll have like puppet makeup on, and then at the climax of the song I'll like wipe off my face with like a wipe, and then we'll be ready, and it's amazing what they come up with, and it's the funnest process. And I have a lot of people that I'll say to fellow female musicians, for example, like, you should be involved, you should be a band coach, and they'll go like, oh, I'm not good enough at music. And it's just so not about being the best in the room or the most talented. It's about having the enthusiasm and the right attitude, and you almost just stand there and watch creativity and young people do their own thing. And every single time they create a song in 1 week in such a short amount of time, and they get up on the stage, and the whole crowd at the showcase is just like, this is the best thing in the world. There's like very political songs, there's like really emotional songs, there's songs about like chickens and soup, and there's everything. It's so good.
That's important to cover as well.
Absolutely. That is the story inside for some people,
And I love what Ashton was saying about the internal culture of what you've put together, kind of shifting to the spaces around. I think I've seen that particularly at public facing events that Girls Rock has put on. So like running stages at Laneway and A Day of Clarity, and fundraisers. When I've been to Long, there's just been such a positive and inclusive atmosphere. And I think that is testament to the culture that comes from within, and then it's infectious and it's all around. And I imagine there's so many rewarding things about working and running with Girls Rock, but perhaps I could ask you the tough question of what do you find the most rewarding in the work that you do? Maybe Anna, you could kick us off.
Yeah, I mean, without question, the culture of the organization is the first thing that you're speaking to that comes to mind. For me, it's the most inclusive and caring space, and also creative and collaborative space that I've worked in professionally, and it's been a huge part of my growth being a part of that, and I'm going to be grateful for it for the rest of my life. So absolutely that. Watching the kids come out of their shells, I think that's for everyone one of the most rewarding things. And then also watching the volunteers connecting with each other and building really strong relationships that they didn't have before necessarily, or they didn't have that link and they've found them. We're going for a hike on Saturday with the Girls Rock volunteers from last year, just to like connect with each other in a socially distanced fashion and touch base. And that's like, there are best friendships that came out of camp, and I think that you watch that. And also within this committee, these are some of my like closest peers and friends who I look up to more than anyone in the world. So rewarding an endless list.
Maybe Grace, you could talk about what you find most rewarding.
Gosh, I mean, I think for me, firstly, it was interesting hearing Anna talk about people feeling like they're not ready to take on a particular role, because I have this background of musical interaction, and then I was invited to be on this committee, and I found this to be a really warm and encouraging space. That's been really important for me. And the more I thought about it and I was encouraged, the more I thought I do have a lot to bring to this, and I'm excited for the young people. I'm excited for the ideas and energy that I'll bring to that space, and to work as part of the team. Being at camp and seeing not even just the amazing songs that the children performed at the end, particularly one about Get Off the Rock. That was the title of the song, and it was a political piece about Uluru, and a real banger, I have to say. It was really catchy as well, and there was some crowd interaction with that one too, which was fantastic. That was a real highlight. But also just watching the young people incidentally interact with each other, and they'd be working on a zine, but they'd be like leaning in and talking to each other and talking about whatever, and just getting along so well. And they didn't even know each other at the start of the week, and they were all shy, and by the end of the week, there was something really special going on. And for a number of them, those bands are still going strong, and they're still talking to each other, and some of them have been swept up into this what I like to think of as kind of a perpetual empowerment loop, which I think is kind of wrapped in this organization, where we've had at least one performer on Tuesday Takeovers, for example, who was from camp last year. So that's kind of a loop feeding back into itself. And I think that's embodied in all elements of this model. And I think that's it's amazing. It's just really amazing. And I wish more spaces were like that.
Yeah, perpetual empowerment loop. I'm going to think about that a lot. That is...
It sounds like one of the band names from camp.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd definitely wear their t-shirt.
Yeah. And Hannah, with your most rewarding parts of working with Girls Rock?
Oh, there's so many, like on different levels. I think one of the most amazing things for me at our first program was at the showcase. One of our campers, she's really quite young, came out as bisexual on stage for the first time in front of her family. And I just lost it. Like, I was bawling, because I thought we achieved what we set out to achieve. We made a space safe enough for someone to feel like themselves. And it just got me. Like, that was such a huge moment for me to feel like, yes, we did the thing. So at that level of the young people, that we're actually, like, the whole organization exists for moments like that. But also to see so much buy-in from the community has been really incredible as well. So to have the support of organisations like Music SA and Moshtix and the Music Development Office and APRA, like so many different organisations are so keen on what we do, and a Day of Clarity as well, being invited to do a stage for them. And for Laneway Festival, there's just been so many organisations that have said, we love what you're doing, how can we be involved, how can we help you? And those kinds of threads reaching out have been really wonderful to see and experience.
That's so cool. And you're right, what a testament to the safe space that you all created, that person felt that was the right environment to do that. That is probably the best feedback you can get, really.
Yeah. There was this kind of whisper like, oh, this might happen. And we're like, okay, we'll just see. We'll see. We'll go with it. They got halfway through the song and it just kind of died down and got a bit quiet. And she starts doing her monologue and we're like, oh my God, she's doing it. And she pulled out a little rainbow flag, and then they all had rainbow flags. It was just like,
my God,
huge.
That is,
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, like spine tingling stuff.
Yeah, more of that.
Yeah.
I think, just to butt in, I think there's actually a photo on our Girls Rock Adelaide website of staff crying and reacting to that moment, holding flags on the side. It's great.
Heck yeah. And I feel like the world at the moment is, I mean, it's always an overwhelming place, but at the moment especially it feels very divided. And so to know that that's happening and that these young people are being empowered in that way, that gives me so much hope for what happens next.
Yeah. It's this would have been our second program this week. We would have been right in the middle of it. So it's a bit of a funny time for us, having rejigged a few things. But it's super exciting to be kind of heading towards camp again in January. So yeah, it's time to start getting excited again, I think.
Absolutely.
Now, I can't believe we're already approaching the end. Like, I knew this would happen with all three of you. But we've had a question from the audience that actually ties in with one of the questions that we were going to ask you. And they've asked, how does Girls Rock Adelaide find or reach out to interested participants? Or perhaps how people who want to get involved find out how to get involved?
Anna?
Yeah. I mean, our website, we've got a beautiful website with all of the information up on there. I think it's jumping on our Instagram and following what's going on in there, and following Takeover Tuesdays is a good way to kind of get your head around what it's all about. And we've got a video up on our website of camp last year, so you can kind of look at that as well to get a really good idea of whether it's the right fit for you, I suppose. And then sign up to the newsletter on the website. And I think I'm not sure what the timeline is on our kind of promotion of camp this year, because it's all different now. But anything to add from you guys? I'm not sure.
Our rough schedule is we'll be looking for applications from volunteers in around September, and rough date to open applications for young people to come along to our next program is in about October.
Awesome.
And someone else in the comment section has asked a related question, which I think may be geared slightly more towards volunteering, but if you have no musical talent, or they think they have no musical talent, are there any other ways that you could get involved? Any opportunities for involvement in a non-musical sense?
For sure. I don't want to be answering all the questions.
Grace.
Either of
Grace, I'll jump in.
Yeah, go Grace.
So, we definitely had volunteers who music isn't necessarily their strong point. Obviously, it's their passion, but they don't necessarily think they play, but they might have a teaching background, for example, or they might have other experience working with and supporting young people. And so there are roles appropriate to that. We also have opportunities for workshop facilitation. So if you might have various artistic skills, or, you know, we've had a variety of things like self-defense, as mentioned earlier. So part of the registration form as well kind of teases out what your skills are, and, you know, helps you try to match with what might be appropriate for you. So definitely don't discount involvement if you feel like you don't have a musical bone in your body. However, I also, you know, contend with that, and, you know, we'll find out during the week. But yeah, have a look at the website because it goes into more detail there on some of that stuff.
Yeah, and, you know, at camp there's things like, because we'll have a kitchen this year, there'll be things like kitchen crew, or there's things like roadie, if you can carry stuff around the venue and help us like coil up leads, or you can be a runner and go grab extension cords, that kind of thing. We just, we love having a variety of people around the place. That's
so great. Don't worry, Anna. We had a blackout during a show the other day, so our phone going off is like actually quite small compared to what we're used to. Now, unfortunately, we've come to the end. I guess the final thing, because I'm sure a lot of people watching will really want to know more. So you recommend go to the website, go to the Instagram, and we'll make sure our awesome moderator, Lee, will be popping those links in the Twitch chat. So people watching, click on those and definitely get involved. Thank you, Grace, Anna, and Hannah for coming in today. That was such a good chat and really, really exciting. I'm going to be telling every person I know in that age bracket just to do it vicariously for me, because it sounds like such an awesome initiative.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, this has been really fun.
Yay! Thank you so much. And well, maybe, who knows, maybe down the track when camp's happening, we can check in again and see how the band's going.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
They'll be rocking.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Can't wait.
Thank you so much.